Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, December 28th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. First off, the price you see over here will be changing around. And the candlestick you see right there will also be moving and changing around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, HTGM. Very, very impressive bounce. So I realize I state the obvious when you consider that the price was here and now it's made a nice move up there. But that just leads to the question of, okay, yeah, nice move, but is there any sort of true power behind this movement? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. In my mind, it all revolves around 365. Why is that area so important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down there, behave like that, and then fall below it, what would that be doing to the price? Well, at that point, that would be putting the price right back inside of where that move started. Not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly the sign of genuine power. But to be fair, nothing can go straight up. So maybe the price does come down here, but the difference being finds some support and then heads back up. Now, all of a sudden, what do you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have that low right there if you envision those as stair steps. Well, now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction, and that's what a truly strong move is going to do. Not go straight up, but at least show those signs of progress. And in this situation, my definition of the quote-unquote sign of progress is staying up above 365. Next one, APE, and the uptrend continues with higher highs and higher lows. So you can see here the highs have gotten higher, and then you look at the lows, and these have continued to trend upwards. So overall, the chart remains in a very nice uptrend. You're going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this level up, which is always good. Whenever levels of support need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, assuming you are bullish, that is what you want to see. So one of the newest levels of support is now going to be right up here at the $1.63 mark. And that will be the ideal level, meaning for Ask Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? Well, yes, ideally, if the price can stay above $1.63, that would be fantastic. But from the big picture of it all, as long as the price remains above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, keyword there being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So as long as the price stays above there, that's going to be best case scenario. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing fancy here, just a question of where did the, let's change that around. Where did the party stop today? And that was just right up here at those highs from the opening part of the day up there at the 206 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But like I said at the beginning, higher highs, higher lows, that's by far what matters most. So as long as that remains the case, then the overall chart is in an uptrend. Next, ELYS, and overall a couple of key dynamics here to point out. First one being this trend line right there, which does show that a pullback has been taking place. But along with that is overall the chart is still in an overall uptrend, much higher than where it was on Friday. So want to get that level down there at 28 cents mapped out. And then maybe make this easier to see. Let's just keep it one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big explosion right here. And let's put a golf hole down there to make it more visual for you golfers out there. So what we have here is a bull pennant pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because it's a bullish pattern does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to go back up. But it is a bullish pattern, and you got to think that a lot of people are watching it. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can turn itself around, get to that level, and then get an upside break through the pattern, that could create continued upside pressure and upside momentum? That's not a guaranteed outcome, but it's certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like plenty stocks, if you like bull pennant patterns, here you go. Next, NIO, very rough day today. Not because it was red per se, but just as you're seeing here with this green line, it's basically back down to where it all began. So if you, correspond where the price is now, back here, it's back down inside of this range, which, to be fair, this was a very, very impressive, black was a poor color choice there. That right there was a very, very impressive move. But as I talked about with that first stock, now we have the price having gone essentially right back to where it started. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. So in other words, another thing you could just say is that this movement here was simply just a big old dead cat bounce. So let's zoom back in here, though, and focus on some of these nearer levels. So the first key dynamic is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, this area right up here at 1080 was the level of support. But now with the price below it, if there is any sort of bigger, attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, that'll be the first big question mark in terms of can the price break above and stay above the 1080 mark. So keep an eye on that. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, once again, got to bring in the bigger picture point of view to figure out where these next key levels are. Next key level of support right there at 995. You can see that the price bounced from there before, once, twice, and then even today 3 times. So a good example here of the power of charts. But yes, 995, definitely a very important level moving forward. Next, AMC. And like the one we just talked about, same general idea. Rough day today as the price has gone essentially right back to where it started. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And then like on NIO, that rule, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So 440 was an important level of support going into today, but now the price has gotten a very clear separation to the downside. So if this little miniature bounce here that's occurring this afternoon continues, that'll be the first big question mark in regards to 440, and can the price not only get above it, but stay above it. As far as levels of support, just the question of where did the bleeding finally stop today, and that was right down here at the $4 mark. So you can see that big old round number, which makes sense for it to find some support. But a couple of times you can see once, and then a couple more times here this afternoon the price held. So $4 is one of those levels where if the price were to go back down there and break below it, that's just putting the price down at levels that this chart has not seen for not months or weeks, but years at this point. So like I said, if it rolls back over $4, a critical level. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering in just a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to get signed up in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then definitely get signed up for the class. Next, ATNF, nice gap up here. And yes, since the gap up, there has been this downtrending trend line, which has done a fantastic job of just forecasting all these resistance points. So you got to think a lot of people will be watching that one. And then at the same time, you also have this level right there. So yeah, essentially, and let me change that to green to represent more so the support portion of the pattern. But you do have overall a downwards channel here after the open occurred. But you got to ask yourself, well, what was going on before the downward channel? And the price was down here before exploding all the way up there. So when I factor in the entire context, what I've now drawn is a bull flag pattern. Let me be very clear, like I said previously, just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go back upwards, but it is still a bullish pattern nonetheless. So yes, I get it that as of now, there is this downwards channel here, but overall context, it has still created now a bull flag pattern. So if you like to play this price range down below $5, you like bull flag patterns, here you go. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and just the bloodshed continues just when it seems like, all right, maybe we got a couple day and a half of sideways movement. Maybe this is some sort of bottom. Nope. New lows it goes. So, I mean, just crazy selling pressure in this one right now. Makes you wonder. I know Elon said that he wasn't going to sell anymore, but I don't know. Is he still continuing to sell? Only time will tell, but let's get some of these updates made. So the first one you've heard me say, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So we have a newest level right there. But I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level down more. Yes, that still pertains, but it's not necessarily the most relevant level. I would say a more relevant area at this point is now going to be right here at 117.50. So keep a close eye on that level. And then also from more so the overarching standpoint, even if the price gets back above there, you want to keep a close eye on that purple line there, 50-period moving average, currently valued at 125.50. And then in terms of levels of support, nothing fancy here, just that question of where did the bleeding finally stop today? And that was down there at, let's just call it the 111 mark. So 111, new level of support right here. But the market still got a while before it closes, so I would not be shocked if the price even get down through there. But if it does at that point, then it just goes back to the question of where's the support? Well, you just kind of got to wait and see where the selling pressure finally stops, and there is some sort of potential sideways movement or bounce. As of now, like I said, I'll call it 111. But with the moral of the story here, the downwards pressure continues, lower lows once again, and you got to say that this is guilty until proven innocent, and right now it's just fully guilty in the bear's favor. Next one, NVDA, which is a pretty crazy looking chart all day long, literally only one green 30-minute session right there, which includes an afternoon of just one red candle after another, after another, after another. So a very unique looking chart here. And NVIDIA is a very popular stock. And I say that because when popular stocks have kind of just flat out beat down days like this, of course, no guarantees, but you got to think that a lot of people are watching it. And when a lot of people are watching and wondering the same things, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So what I'm very curious about is that trend line right there. As a trader that, did not trade NVIDIA today, but I'm definitely watching it quite a bit. I'd be very curious about, can the price get up that level and then break up through it? And I'll repeat myself again, no guarantees that the price breaks that level and then goes up, but it's certainly a plausible, thought process, because you got to think a lot of people are watching that trend line, and a lot of people who, like NVIDIA are saying, just give me a reason to buy. This thing is popular, it's so beat down, just give me any sort of reason. And in my mind, that makes it a very interesting situation at that trend line right there. As far as supports are concerned, next key overarching level of support is going to be that gap close location right down there around, let's just call it the 138 mark. Next one, AAPL, same general idea, very popular stock. Got to think that a lot of people have drawn this trend line like that. So again, I'm not going to repeat myself much, but just like NVIDIA, is it plausible, is it valid to think that the price comes up to that trend line and can get the break up through it, that break could create upside buying pressure? Of course, not a guaranteed outcome, but certainly plausible. As far as levels of support, very curious about this trend line right here. If the price does come back down, will this trend line come back into play? So it'll be interesting to track this over the next couple of days. Again, maybe it doesn't, because this thing's getting ready to make some sort of move back to the upside. But if it does roll back over, then yeah, could the price come down here and bounce off that level? In my mind, that seems like a very plausible situation. But like I said, one step at a time. First, got to see if this thing decides to roll back over, or if it's on its way up to that trend line there to try to push up through it. Next, TQQQ, which is the most popular ETF out there, tracks the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, then this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point, which is why I think it's so popular. But as of now, some very well-defined levels. So nothing new per se from the video I did on Friday, but they are important in the sense of you got to think going to be that many more eyeballs watching them. So as of now, it's seeming like just a sideways channel has formed. Got the bounce on Friday, but it came up to the top of this channel right here around 1750, that red line. And then you can see today did get rejected. But the key part on the rejection is it's not like it came down to this green line and then just crashed through there. No, it came down there, never even tested it, per se, but got around that area and has now just started to go sideways. So yeah, not a great day, but it's by no means was it a train wreck day where the price was bouncing, then now, it went down to the lows and then even crashed down through there. So nothing like that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that 1660 mark definitely becomes that much more important on Wednesday, because if the price does come down there and then, blast down through there, that break would illustrate that the bears have not only, have control, which they do right now, but they're gaining just that much more control. But overall, the sideways channel continues here, which is going to just bring in that many more eyeballs. So again, two key levels to watch, right up around 1755 resistance and then 1660 as support. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. It'll be later this week, like I said, Thursday, December 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching for tomorrow. Those two things help out the channel, communicate to me that you are enjoying, and as long as I know you are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the time and effort to get these videos out to you. So again, get signed up for that class, hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.